Hi, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Actually, I just realized I did not even share this. Good morning to those of you who may watch on TikTok. I am live streaming from there as well today for the first time, starting to do this. If you are joining on TikTok, but you want to join the live chat, most of the individuals will be watching the streams today from YouTube. If you're interested, the channel Sleuth Mom on YouTube is where you can find us. Let me go ahead and share this over to Discord because I completely forgot to tell anyone at all that I was going live. So, good morning, Libby. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. I want to come on and discuss these California wildfires. Also, what happened in Chicago. They are reporting on it this morning. There was a terror cell discovered in Chicago. Craziness. They had found police uniforms, fire uniforms, and weapons as well as explosive devices and things like that, all found by an HVAC worker who entered an apartment uh, and located these items. And so it's absolutely terrifying to think about the fact that what were they planning in Chicago? What was going on? Especially now, in light of the fact that these fires in California are being set purposely by different individuals throughout the area. I got a couple different video guys to show you guys of people being arrested, of them starting the fires, things like that. I'm sure most of you guys have seen this. I do know that we do have a few followers who live in California. And one of the things that was actually brought up to me prior to, I would say probably about a month ago, was the individuals who had house insurance. They had house insurance on their properties, and with no warning, their house insurance policies were dropped several months ago, and there was no reasoning behind it. But thousands of people lost their house insurance policies, as if as if the insurance companies knew that some type of massive catastrophe was getting ready to happen. And I know that you're starting to dwell into conspiracy theory land whenever you start to think that they would literally go out and destroy thousands of homes. They would literally go out and destroy thousands of acres for some type of purpose. Um, as far as like who would be behind that, who would want that to happen. But then you see things like the new railway that they are proposing to be set in California is actually right along the lines where these fires are running. You see things like Gavin Newsom coming out, no propositions of how to end these fires. He has done nothing for California to prevent these wildfires. They have actually reduced funding to the fire departments prior to these fires starting as well. They're out of water. The reservoirs were not active whenever they started. Like all of these different things adding up. And then he's coming out and doing an interview talking about California 2.0 and how they're going to rebuild. And meanwhile, these communities are devastated, lives are being lost, and this tragedy is ongoing throughout that state right now. It's something that I've been watching pretty closely and just have not had time until this moment to come live about this. We will be going live also shortly after this for the trial of Jasmine Pace. If you guys are going to be watching that with us, please feel free to join. We are watching it slightly delayed so that we don't have to watch the commercials or the breaks, I guess I should say, not really commercials, but so that we don't have to watch the extended breaks and the lunches and things like that, and so that we can actually just sit back and watch the trial as it takes place. Good morning, Roberta. Good morning, Jordan Olive. Hi, Libby. Oh, I totally already said hello to you, but hello again. Hi, Lioness. Yeah, the people in California are now suing the utility companies. Some fires were set by utility companies, right? Think smart meters. Maybe. Hi, Ramblin' Rome. Hi, Roberta. Yeah, you were following the stories. Hi, Sarah Hart. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, BC. Good morning, Kim. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, you hate the breaks. Me too, especially whenever they keep going. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, and so let's see here. Let me start out. Let me see. What do we want to watch first? Yeah, stop watching Ramblin', come in and watch it. We can watch it without the breaks. It just makes it so much easier to not have all of the breaks and things like that. So there are some people who are trying to say that the fires are being caused by climate change. They want people to say that climate change is the reason that California is up in smokes right now and that all of this is taking place. And the reality of the situation is climate change cannot be arrested. We have seen multiple individuals being arrested and detained, things like that, for trying to set fires at this point. How is Biden responding to all of this? What are they doing for the people of California whose homes are just being absolutely ravaged and devastated? Well, great news, similar to what we have seen in Hawaii and similar to what we have seen through the hurricane relief. Biden has announced a $770 one time payment to the victims of the California fires. That's right, the individuals who have completely lost their homes, lost their vehicles, lost in some cases their lives. These individuals are getting $770. And so let me show you guys this clip first. It's just honestly ridiculous in my opinion that it's insulting. It's absolutely insulting to offer them $770 and then that'll be what all they get, right? They won't see very much funding beyond that. It does. It makes you wonder about the fires in Hawaii. And there was a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding the fires in Hawaii, but not very many people wanted to hear those conspiracy theories. Not very many people want to accept that things could be controlled by our government.
And I want to be clear, we're not waiting until those fires are over to start helping the victims. We're getting them help right now, as you all know. People impacted by these fires are going to receive one-time payment of $770, one-time payment, so they can quickly purchase things like water, baby formula, and prescriptions. So far, nearly 6,000 survivors have registered to do just that, and $5.1 million has gone out. And I want to be clear.
A $770 one time payment. It's just honestly, it's just devastating. Because again, these people are losing everything. Let me pull up some of these pictures. I'm sure most of you guys have seen some of the devastation that's going on, but it's truly disturbing to see exactly the devastation and how much is just completely wiped out. Let me see if I can find. I have so many different links shared to myself. Let me share this one. I think I'm on the right tab here. Okay. So these are just some of the visuals that people have shared. Some of the pictures and videos and things like that have been shared. And I mean, we're talking complete and total devastation. And then the firefighters are standing there completely and totally helpless. Can't even go in and fight these fires because now there's no water. And you go back to thinking about the fact that they have stopped the the water from going to these areas because of the smelt fish is the thing that they were trying to protect, this endangered fish, to make sure that that fish was able to stay in its habitation and things like that, instead of running water all down through these areas. But the reality of the situation is water is a commodity out in these areas. Water is a priceless treasure in this side of the country. People actually own water rights in different areas, and you have to purchase water rights similar to how you would in Pennsylvania purchase the cool rights or the gas rights to your land. There, it's water rights. And so if you add more water to the area and make it easily accessible and make it so that this area is not in a constant state of being in a drought basically, You take a revenue source away from these people who control the water, who control the water in the area. Yeah, water is life. Water is life. It is. It's so scary. And look at this. I mean, complete and total devastation just ripping through these areas. But don't worry, the smelt fish is fine through all of this. And they have no water to fight. And then through it all, they have people, of course, showing up to loot and to take advantage of the situations, and to ravage the communities that for any items that may be left, which is absolutely disgusting in itself. I will say though that there was one individual who had his picture shared as a looter on mainstream media, and he was there actively helping neighbors and friends and family and things like that get whatever belongings they could out of the areas and try to flee. And so I think it's one of those situations where you have to be careful the images that you're showing of these supposed looters, because unfortunately, people are being claimed to be looters whenever they're not. And so that's something to keep in mind as well. But the DA did announce, they did do a press conference announcing that they were going to be doing charges against anybody that they see looting amid the wildfire destructions. So I do want to play this news clip. We'll discuss it as it's playing as well.
You are listening to Sheriff Robert Luna. They're talking a little bit about what his department is doing as well. Again, this has been a multi-agency effort here to try and keep people safe amid these disastrous wildfires. What you did hear a little bit earlier there from the newly elected Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman is his effort here to keep his word, to keep his promise to the people of Southern California that he will prosecute people that are taking advantage of this situation. He noted that there are now 10 people facing charges, 9 of them in connection to looting and 1 in connection to arson. Now, this connection to arson, I think it's important to highlight here. This is an incident that he says happened in Azusa, California. So it isn't connected right now to some of these big fires that we saw immediately. We know that initially they were investigating the Kenneth fire that sparked off near the Calabasas area. They were investigating that as arson as well. And he noted here that that person who is facing these arson charges is looking at potentially 9 years in prison. But looting is certainly top of mind for so many people in this area. I want to bring in ABC's Matt Rivers. He's out here in Altadena, not that far from me. And Matt, if you were able to hear authorities just talk about what they're dealing with here in Altadena, they noted here that there are several people that are facing charges in connection to looting incidents that happened out here in Altadena. And he noted one in particular that some people went into 2 different homes. And Matt, at one point, he says they stole an Emmy Award from someone. I mean, this is just so offensive to people here who are just literally picking up the mess of their lives.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that we are in Los Angeles when it is an Emmy Award that gets stolen.
Yeah.
But, each one of these houses, still, even though there's all this destruction, Kana, behind me, house after house, almost there's nothing left. It has not stopped people from trying to come in and pick through the rubble here to see what they can find and take advantage of the situation. I will say, having been out here now for the better part of a week, here every single day, as I know you've been, the law enforcement presence is immense. In fact, just as we were coming on here, 2 people from the FBI just drove by. Right before that, it was the sheriffs. We had to pass by National Guard troops. So when you're hearing officials say there is 0 tolerance for this kind of thing, it seems like they're backing up the words with actions, both with those prosecutions and also with the amount of resources that have been deployed in and around this area. We've been here in the middle of the night. We've been here in the middle of the day, every hour in between, and we always, always, always see a consistent law enforcement presence. So that
Yeah, BC, that's true. They were using prisoners to fight the fires. Hi, Bushes. How are you? Yeah, you don't think that there's 9 years is enough time for people. Yeah. She had her house looted also. That's crazy. It really makes you wonder, like, why? Why do people take advantage of crises like this? It's just disgusting.
That is something that I think people who are maybe homeowners in here that might be worried. Don't forget, it's not just homes that have been destroyed, too. It's the homes that are not destroyed that are under evacuation orders. Obviously, they're a huge risk because they're not destroyed. There are police officers out here, law enforcement personnel doing what they can, but it's such a huge area, Kana, as you mentioned earlier, that it's, they can't be everywhere at once.
Right, and it is really widespread. I mean, we talked about the looting that they say they saw here on the Eaton fire out in Altadena, but they also talked about the looting incidents that they saw on the outskirts of the Palisades fire. And you're right to mention there, Matt, the concerns of the homes that are still standing. It sounds like that's an issue they ran into in that Mandeville Canyon area where somebody stole some $200,000 worth of goods is what they're alleging. And they're saying that, Matt, one of these people, it was their third offense. This person is facing life in prison at this time. They're clearly taking this very seriously. And that's what we're hearing here from our local officials. But, Matt, I know you're also seeing the National Guard out there, a huge presence here in Altadena and in the Palisades area as well, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that they are really, really taking this quite seriously. And we were talking to some firefighters yesterday who were also talking about that with me as well. They were basically saying it makes their jobs easier to do what they do, that they don't have to worry about looking over their shoulder when we know that there are bad actors out there. There's no question. We heard over the weekend from Sheriff Luna that one of the people who was caught in one of these areas.
So I'm just going to pause it because look at these photos, you guys. Like, this is devastating. Yeah, people from Mexico, people from Canada have come down. There are fire stations from all over the country that have been trying to send people as well. I know that there was some issues getting diesel fuel leading out to this area just because of the amount of people who are fueling up and things like that, trying to get there to help. But there has been individuals who have come from all over to try to get there to assist. And so that's why I was saying, like, not everybody that is going to be in this area going into this area is going to be looters, but it is devastating that stuff like that even happens to begin with. So one of the things that a lot of people are talking about is because of the funding that was cut from the fire departments. They had cut back the funding, and that was addressed during the Board of Fire Commission's meeting on December 17th. And the man warned that, people are going to die. We need funding for our fire stations. We need funding for these areas. It's just atrocious to even question whether or not that these funds should be going to those things. The prisoners are not paid what they're doing to help without risking their lives. Wow, that's crazy. Shea Safe Place. I didn't know they were not paid at all. Yeah, they're out there risking their lives. This morning, they said that there are 9,000 firefighters fighting these fires with very little water. Very little water. You've seen the roads filled with cars. Yeah, fire trucks can't get to the fires because it looked like an apocalypse with all the abandoned cars. So let me show you guys this meeting. Just a brief clip from it.
Paramedics in the country. UFLAG supports the fire chief's proposed budget for next year's fiscal year and encourages this commission to join us in fighting for LAFD funding levels that reflect the needs of our city and our firefighters. As you have now seen in the chief's standard of cover letter, there are some truly shocking findings with the current state of the LAFD. In 1960, our city population was 2.5 million, and we had 112 fire stations. In 2020, our city population was 3.9 million, and we had 106 stations. That's 1.4 million more people and 6 fewer fire stations. In 1969, the LAFD responded to 101,000 emergency incidents. In 2023, we responded to 505,000 emergency incidents. That's 5 times the number of calls with fewer fire stations and fewer firefighters. We have fewer resources today we did in the 1960s when our population was 57% what it is now. This is simply unacceptable. In our work, every second counts when dealing with life and death situations, yet 61% of the time, LAFD resources arrive past the National Fire Protection Association recommended 4-minute mark. In fact, in 2020, the average emergency response time was 7 minutes and 53 seconds, nearly double the NFPA recommendation. With regards to our staffing levels, the national average in densely populated cities is between 1.5 to 1.8 firefighters per 1,000 people. The LAFD is at 0.9 firefighters per 1,000 people. That's about half of the national staffing average. All these facts lead to recommendations in the standard of cover report that we need to add 62 new fire stations, add hundreds of new firefighters and medics, and dozens of new dispatchers and battalions, and so much more to provide our city and our residents with the protection they deserve. We know the city is headed into tough financial times, but when it's your home that is on fire, or when it's your loved one who's suffering a heart attack, you know we can't wait. We need to work towards a solution now. In 2000, voters passed Proposition F to build new fire stations and training centers to upgrade additional facilities. It's time to be again exploring that, a bond measure, and the standard of cover is the first step. I want to thank Chief Crowley, Captain Kingsling, Chief Roberts, and everyone involved with this process. We look forward to working with everyone in the future to get this right. And I'm going to make a bold statement. I'm not scared. I'm going to say what people can't say. If we cut one position, if we close one station, if we close one resource, the residents of Los Angeles are going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and someone will die. And we want to work with you guys to prevent that from happening. And we have the facts to back it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the prisoners are not trained firefighters. They're not. Morning, Ocean Tide. How are you? Hi, Ringo. Oh, goodness. Don't start a dumpster fire. Now, the prisoners aren't trained. But let me see here. So I mentioned, where did this tab go? Okay, here it is. So CNN actually did an article also about the recruitment policies and the funding that being scrutinized and things like that. It says 4 major fires across LA have killed 16 people and scorched over 38,000 acres. So this was updated. This is 2 days old. So obviously this has grown since then. It has damaged at least 10,000 structures and more than 166,000 people are under evacuation orders. Now, the strong winds caused the fires to spread rapidly, complicating firefighting efforts, especially those from the sky. As crews can work to contain the inferno, the LAFD chief, Kristen Crowley, is facing criticism for prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion within the department. Meanwhile, she has expressed concerns about the $17.4 million cut to the department's 2025 budget, which includes reductions in overtime staffing. People are sick of it. People are frustrated. People are calling for her to step down. They're calling for Newsom to step down. People are just very, very frustrated. As you can imagine, I mean, they are literally watching their neighborhoods up in smokes. They are watching everything burn to the ground. And it's just absolutely devastating that most of this could have been avoided. I feel like most of this could have been avoided if the proper funding was in place, if the reservoirs were active and things like that. But you can't prepare for necessarily and fight against stuff like this. This is one of the fires being set. Guy just walks up, lights a tree, and walks away. This is the stuff that they're dealing with. This is part of how these fires are spreading. This is part of how these individuals are out there doing this. This one says that this guy had a blowtorch and was attempting to start fire. These locals in this area actually helped stop him and got a hold of police so that he could be arrested, and then he was let go because they didn't have enough evidence against him. It's just gross. It's just gross. But while all of this is going on, there are people, like I said, calling for Governor Newsom to step down.
You've called for the mayor of LA to resign. You've not called yet for the governor to resign. The prime minister of Canada just resigned. Why don't we get both of them to resign?
Here it goes. I'm calling on Gavin Newsom to resign. I mean, we can make it official. I mean, I feel like it's almost unsaid now. The guy is wholly unfit for this position. Look at the budget. A budget's a reflection of your priorities. We're spending barely $200 million on wildfire prevention, which is an 80% cut from a few years ago. We're spending $5 billion a year on illegal immigrant healthcare. That's what they care about, Larry. They care about illegal aliens. They care about bullet trains to nowhere. They don't care about preventing wildfires or fighting fires. That's not a sexy issue for them. So he needs to go. Karen Bass needs to go. How the hell do you fly out of the state when you know you're going to have an extreme weather event in a dry season in your city? How the hell do you go out of town? And then she says, "Oh, I was in contact. I was on the phone." We don't want a mayor working remotely. She needs to be there in the city with the people. I mean, she's a joke.
You've called for the mayor of LA to resign. You've not called yet for the governor to resign. The prime minister of Canada just resigned. Why don't we get both of them to resign?
Here it goes. I'm calling on Gavin Newsom to resign. I mean, we can make it official. I mean, I feel like it's almost unsaid now. The guy is wholly unfit for this position. Look at the budget. A budget's a reflection of your priorities.
Yeah. 20. So Google is saying 24. The Eaton fire killed 16 people, making it the deadliest in history, and at least eight have died in the Palisades fire. Now, that probably is going to go up. It likely is going to go up, which is absolutely devastating. As of 33 minutes ago, though, CBS News, that is it. And it says, victims killed in the LA wildfires include father and son, world traveler, former and child actor, a hang gliding pilot, a father and son, and a former child actor are among those who have died due to the Los Angeles area wildfires that started January 7th and continue to ravage the area. At least 24 people have died as the result of the fires spreading across Los Angeles area, and the death toll is expected to rise. They have confirmed 12 of the names of the 24 victims. They are Victor Shaw, Rory Skies, Anthony Mitchell, Justin Mitchell, Randall Mayod, Annette Rosalie, Rodney Nickerson, Charles Mortimer, Evelyn McClendon, Arthur, I'm going to say Simonu. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but Arthur, Dallas Curry, and Kim Winicki. And so it's just absolutely devastating. It says that Anthony Mitchell, a 67-year-old amputee, and his son Justin, who has cerebral palsy, died in the fire. Mitchell's daughter told the Associated Press that the two were waiting for the ambulance to pick them up, and they didn't make it out. She said White said authorities told her that Mitchell was found by the side of his son's bed. Could you imagine the fear? The absolute terror, knowing that this is coming towards your house. There's actually a video. Let me see if I can scroll back in my Facebook here, because I had sent it to some people the other day, I think. But there was a video of the fire just swarming around people while they stood there and videoed it. But they were able to escape safely. Oh, here's a video of the skies. Let me show you guys this. It's tragic. They don't prioritize what's important, get the reservoirs up and running, right? The whole part is actually desert and they pump water from other places, right? And so that was one of those things we were talking about a few minutes ago was the smelt fish and things like that. That was something that they wanted to run water to those areas, but the activists in the area were more worried about protecting the smelt fish. And it comes down to is a fish more important than making sure situations like this don't happen? Running out of water while you're trying to fight massive fires like this, it's devastating. These individuals who have control of the water rights and who control the water inside of these areas, is it a part of the fact that they don't want to give up control to the assets that they have through these water rights? I think so. I think that that has something to do with it. Let me pull up. Okay, wait, let me see if I can find this. That's what I was doing. I lost track. Mhm. Nope, I'm not going to find it. All right, let me pull up the next clip. And then we'll go from there. Now, I mentioned Newsom. He is more worried about California 2.0 instead of being worried about what's currently going on. And it's gross to me. I don't know how you can be focused on the rebuilding and reimagining of LA prior to being focused on getting the fire out, making sure that the water is there, making sure that these individuals have the resources they need, and then rebuilding. Or are you just worried about being able to purchase their land for the individuals who no longer have fire insurance because a lot of the insurance companies canceled their customers prior to the fires um, coming out? So let's watch this.
But also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan?
For
Tell
this
us about this
region,
Marshall
we're just
Plan.
starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders. We're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits. We're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of individuals on philanthropy for recovery, how we can organize the region, how we can make sure that we are seeking federal assistance for the Olympics more broadly, but also federal assistance for the recovery efforts, and how we can galvanize the community with folks that love this community to really develop a mindset so that at scale, we're dealing with the scope of this tragedy and responding to it at scale with efficiency like the executive order I talked about, time value of delivering projects, addressing building codes, addressing permitting issues, and moving forward to rebuilding and being more resilient.
Hi, Mama Bear. Good to see you. Yeah, Ringo, I went through this as a young 14-year-old. I watched fire travel from miles away to our doorstep in a matter of minutes. I watched it from roof. Yeah, that's wow. Hmm, that's crazy. Hi, Ellie. Yeah, the winds were insane. The fire was going the length of 2 football fields in seconds. It was. It spread so fast. You're in the LA area. I hope you are staying safe. It's been surreal. Good morning, Nicole. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, just a bunch of hogwash. But see, so this is how the conspiracy theories and stuff like that start building and spreading like wildfire, just like these just like these fires are. Because you get this and you see the lack of concern. You see Joe Biden say that he's going to give everybody $770. You see them try to blame climate change, but then we have videos of the individuals actually out there setting the fires. We have people getting arrested now. You know what I mean? And so you see the funding stop for the or be cut, I guess I should say. The funding was cut towards the fire departments. And then you also have on top of that the thousands of people who lost their homeowners insurance just before the fires were set. And this was something that somebody had actually brought up in the live streams that we were doing not too long ago whenever we were covering the politics and stuff like that, about the fact that these insurance companies decided to drop customers from their insurance for no reason, and then other insurance companies were refusing to pick them up. And it's almost as if the insurance companies themselves were preparing for this fire season. Now, I will say that the winter months seem to be when a lot of these fires start, because of the droughts and things like that that happen. But it really makes you question, could there be more to things? Could there have been, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, honestly, but it really does make the conspiracy theories start to run rampant whenever all of these things line up together, and then you add on to it that these people who are losing their residence don't even have insurance on them right now. So they're going to get a $770 check from Joe Biden and then nothing else. They have no insurance to fall back on. They're not going to be able to rebuild. And then unless they are wealthy, right? Unless they're one of these celebrities or these elites that live in these areas that are burning to the ground. I'm sure their insurances probably weren't dropped, right? But unless they have the money already saved up to be able to rebuild on their property, what are they going to do? Because their property is gone. Everything is gone. So how do you rebuild on that? Or do you just turn around and decide to sell because everything is destroyed and you need to rebuild somewhere and you need money to rebuild? And so you walk away from everything that you've ever owned because it looks like this, right? Because it's ravaged, because everything is gone and you lost your insurance on top of it. So nothing can even be replaced for you. And this is what they're dealing with. You got family in the area. I am so glad they are safe so far, Bushes. It's never been this bad though, right? With many people setting fires, but every year someone or many get caught, right? Your husband and his family are LA natives. This BS with the people setting fires and intentionally goes, yeah. 2016, a firefighter was caught up in the hills. Why do they do that? It's disgusting. Yep. So 1,600 policies in the Palisades were dropped by State Farm in July. The California Department of Insurance spokesman Michael Soler said in Thursday email to CBS Money Watch. An analysis of insurance data by CBS San Francisco last year found that State Farm also dropped more than 2,000 policies and two other Los Angeles zip codes, which include Brentwood, Calabasas, Hidden Hills, Montanido neighborhoods. In an email to CBS Money Watch, State Farm said, our number one priority right now is the safety of our customers, agents, and employees impacted by the fires and assisting our customers in the midst of this tragedy. State Farm's decision reflects a trend of private insurers, including Allstate and Farmers Insurance, of dropping California policies or halting the underwriting, leaving homeowners with the choice of getting coverage through the insurer of last resort, the California Fair Access to Insurance Requirements Plan, or FAIR plan, or forego insurance altogether. The FAIR Plan provides basic fire insurance coverage for properties in high-risk areas when traditional insurance companies will not. As a result, the homeowners of the Pacific Palisades had increasingly shifted to the FAIR Plan, with roughly 1,400 of the town's 9,000 homes covered by the plan in 2024, more than quadruple the number in 2020, according to the data from the insurers. In other words, prior to the disaster, 1 in 7 homeowners were reliant on the plan in the past. So it says that it could be the most costly fire in history, which obviously, I mean, look how much of the state is on fire. Like, I mean, do I have a map of this? Let me see. See if I can pull up like the active fire. Because I know with so that's 6 days ago. We know a new one started yesterday. Let me see if I can find. That's 5 days ago. Where is the most up to date? Well, let me show you this one from 5 days ago, which is out of date. They are more widespread than that. What is this one? I know with Hawaii, there was like an active map that you were able to pull up and see where the fires were active right at that moment and how much was contained and things like that. I mean, we know that this is way out to date, but this is where all the different fires were 5 days ago. So, yeah, it's not even close to being contained. There's a reason California will not allow insurance rates to be raised. They cannot afford to insure. Right. The people in Florida pay 4 times the amount for homeowners insurance. Wow. Mm. Yeah, prayers for everybody who is in this area. And then not only the people who are directly affected by the fires, but also everybody who are dealing with the smoke and things like that that are coming off of these fires. I can't imagine that the air is safe to breathe in any of these areas. So this is actually something that was brought up. There is actually a famous person who has come out and said that this is all happening to cover up. Well, he alleged pedophilia in California. So let me see if I can find his video. I don't know if I can play the whole thing because he does have music and stuff playing in the background. But I thought that it was interesting that that's something that they even alleged, and especially in light of the Diddy parties, especially in light of the different, you know, things that come out about child trafficking in the last couple years. I have too many tabs open. Makes it so hard to find things. I think it was Eddie Griffin. Yeah, Eddie Griffin. He's a Hollywood actor. And he has like a podcast. Let me show you guys this video. He has like a podcast that he does, and on his podcast, you know, this is his opinion. This is what he thinks is going on. in this area.
Hello and welcome to another installment of NNN, where we give it to you straight, no chaser. Let's get
I mean, so I'm going to talk periodically because he has this music playing, but
right to it. LA is on fire. Now, a lot of people saying it's to cover up the pedophile trail, and all of a sudden the water ain't working. And hold on, 60% of the water rights is owned by this fucking couple. What's their name? Wonderful. Yeah, the wonderful company.
60% of the water in California is owned by them. Like, I need to fact check that. But it would not surprise me at all, because I know water rights are a huge, huge thing in a lot of these areas.
It's owned by this husband and wife team. They own Pistachio, they own Fiji water. I stopped drinking any of that shit, around the motherfucking globe. Let them motherfuckers go broke. Feeding the pistachios and almonds, all that goddamn water. Meanwhile, people's houses burning down, dying of thirst and shit. All these sons of bitches. And the regulators who allowed them motherfuckers to own 60% of the goddamn water.
Okay, language warning. Oh my.
Fire them motherfuckers too, goddammit. What the fuck is y'all problem? That is public water. We built the dam that's holding that water and all that shit with taxpayers' dollars. How the fuck y'all gonna sign it over to this goddamn couple? Sons of bitches. Let's pray for the motherfuckers out there that houses is burning down and shit, unless they pedophiles. If they pedophiles, fuck them. Let that shit burn. Cause I know what you're doing. You're burning the evidence up, sons of bitches. But we still gonna catch you. And let somebody do some research. In the rich neighborhoods, who had already left their house and knew that the fire was coming?
I mean, so it really does just make you question things, right? It really does make you wonder. Yeah, I seen that. We showed that earlier. He was caught with a blowtorch, and they arrested him and let him go right away because of lack of evidence. Yeah, the air is not safe to breathe. Not at all. No homeowners insurance is a California government failure, not the industries. Do they, Ringo? Right. Yep. They cut it by $17.4 million. That's the video we were watching towards the beginning. It's disturbing. So I did pull this up just to kind of see, and it does. It says that the LA wildfires raised serious questions about who controls the California's water. So meet the Resnicks. In 1994, Stuart and Linda Resnick, a billionaire couple, gained control over a significant portion of California's water resources through a series of secretive meetings. The maneuver allowed them to build a business empire and at times sell water back to the public. So they got to sell the water back to them. A resource largely funded by taxpayers. Now that privatization of an essential human right has come back to haunt California in the form of shining a spotlight on it via the deadly wildfires that have swept part of the state. The Resnicks own the Wonderful Company, a privately held conglomerate valued at over $5 billion, producing popular products like pistachios, pomegranate juice, mandarins, and flowers. Their agricultural operations consume approximately 150 billion gallons of water annually, even as the urban water systems in California face severe shortages, receiving only 5% of their requested allocations in 2023. 150 billion gallons, by the way, is a huge amount, more than the controversial Santa Ynez Reservoir that holds 117 million gallons. This is the reservoir that has been empty for at least a year. Yeah, corruption at its best, right? We'll just sell off the water. It's fine, right? And that's what I was saying. They don't want to add more water to this area because these individuals who control the water, they're able to sell it to the public. Now, none of this is to say that the couple is responsible for the shortage of water during the ongoing fires. That, as Forbes pointed out, would be the anti Semitic conspiracy theory like this from the far right Unity News Network. I don't think it has anything to do with them being Jewish, anti Semitic. Yeah, I don't know about that. But I do think that billionaires owning the water is an issue. The water should be available for everyone. We shouldn't have this, but I know it happens in multiple states out towards that side of the country. I couldn't imagine not being able to walk down the road to the spring. There's a fresh spring not that far from my house. We fill up water at sometimes. I couldn't imagine not having the freedom or the ability to just go do that and having to worry about purchasing it from other individuals. I mean, obviously everybody has a water company. We all pay a water bill and things like that. But I'm able to go outside to a creek or a lake or wherever and get whatever I want. Yeah, should never populate the area with more people than your local resources can support. LA drains so many other areas to feed their overages. Jillian Michaels has been bringing this to light. The small family farms are disappearing. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. I don't know. It's all interesting. It's all a lot of things and honestly, it's devastating. Every last piece of it, every single one of these families that have been displaced and that are going through this fire system right now, and it's for what? They're these individuals just walking around setting these fires for what? What do you gain from this? What do you gain? Or could this be motivated by other things? And this is, like I said, how conspiracy theories start because the insurance companies drop the insurance. There's no access to water. There's no way to put these fires out. These lands, these homes are being completely and utterly destroyed. Gavin Newsom is coming out talking about LA 2.0. And meanwhile, that's exactly the path where they want to put their new high-speed rail system. The part that isn't built yet. It's all through these areas that the fire is raging. And so it really does just continuously, people want to think that everybody who has a conspiracy theory or thinks that things could be organized chaos for a reason, could it all go together? Could it all go together and be the purpose behind why this is being allowed to continue to ravage so many areas and so many homes? It wasn't just water for that fish. A lot of water coming down from Canada to there is being poured into right. Land grabs. That's exactly what I was just saying about the rail system. And so I don't know. I don't know. But so let me tell you guys about the other thing because I do have to get off here because we do have court starting very soon for us. But I do want to tell you guys also about what happened in Chicago. And so let me pull this up. So in Chicago, oh, Chicago. Let me show you guys this video. It's terrifying. So there was an HVAC worker who was supposed to go do some maintenance on a building. And it was announced, everybody was notified that this was supposed to be happening. And she goes into this apartment because nobody answered. And inside of the apartment, let me pull this up. Inside of the apartment, she finds a sleeper cell, a terrorist apartment, essentially. Let me play this.
Guys, the suspicious materials in question were apparently discovered by a contractor who was scheduled to service the units inside this apartment building. We talked to her, and what she says she found were pretty clear red flags that needed to be reported to authorities.
I had the master key, and I went in there, and I came across a lot of things, and I was like, that don't seem right.
Melissa Caraway works for an HVAC company that was scheduled to service units at 533 East 33rd Place in the Lake Meadows neighborhood. She says residents get advance notice that they'll be making the rounds and entering their units. When no one answered the door, she says she let herself in.
And I came across some C4, some explosives, a rifle, a lot of fake IDs, a lot of fireman stuff, a lot of police force stuff, and it just looked like it was fake, you know.
She says the discovery happened around 10 a.m. in a unit on the 6th floor. She wasn't sure what to do at first, but says she called police about a half hour later.
Could you imagine? Like, honestly, could you imagine just going about your everyday life, walking into an apartment to do things? I'm sure they see all types of different items inside of homes and things like that whenever they have to go in without people being present, or even with people being present for that matter. And she goes in and she sees explosives, she sees weapons, she see she sees she sees police uniforms, she sees fire uniforms and things like that, all just in this home. I don't even know how I would respond. I don't know what I would do. I'd probably be terrified and like want to get out of there as soon as possible.
Video of the response shows law enforcement with ballistic shields, others with rifles. The entire building was evacuated, officers going door by door to tell residents they needed to leave.
I was afraid because I didn't know what was going on. So, again, I've been out here since like 11:15, 11:30, and I still don't have any information.
After several hours inside, CPD says its bomb unit cleared the scene as a precaution, determining the objects were safe and posed no threat. Police say someone was placed into custody on the scene, but no further information was provided.
You know, the bombing that happened in New Orleans and Vegas, so it kind of scared me. So I just want to call and check.
Certainly understand her concern. Police on scene began to leave this building around 1:30 this afternoon. Residents trickling back into the building shortly thereafter. This explosive scare again resulting in one person in custody, though it's not clear how that person is connected to what police discovered inside.
I agree, Oceantide. She is so lucky that there was nobody home that was able to stop her for being able to report that. I don't think she would have made it back out alive. I mean, honestly. And they likely would have taken all of their belongings and they would have left everything that they had hiding in there, and it would have been disappeared before anybody realized that she was missing or deceased or any of those things. And they would have just been gone. Find all. Yeah, well, let's hope that it was just stripper outfits. Honestly, though, I highly doubt it, though, considering that there was explosives and weapons and things like that. Um, it's disturbing. It's disturbing, and so it makes you question how many other types of sleeper cells could be in our country. How many other types of setups like that could be going on, and then it makes you question things like, we go back to the drone activity that's going on in New Jersey and the different towns that are still seeing drones. Nobody's talking about it. I think maybe Cinema Shogun might be the only person who is continuing to follow up with the drone situation, but nobody's really talking about it, nobody's paying much attention to it. And then there's all these rumors that it's because they are like government agencies looking for the missing, I guess, nuclear explosives that were stolen. And then I seen today also that there were 3 Hummers. Let me see if I can find the article. 3 military Hummers that have been stolen now with explosive devices and machine guns. Let me pull this up. Yeah, tinfoil hat cat all day long, man. It is too much crazy stuff happening all over. 3 Humvees and military supplies stolen from the Army's Reserve warehouse in Tustin, California. Now, is this connected to the other things? No, but it makes you wonder who is taking these things. Who is going in there and taking these things? Who are these people who want these military type vehicles? Who are the people who are hiding explosives and police and firefighter uniforms in their apartments? What is the purpose behind all of this? What is the purpose behind the drones flying? What is the purpose behind, all of the different things? And it just leaves me down that conspiracy rabbit hole. And I can't help it. I can't help it because sometimes it's not a conspiracy theory. Sometimes the things that are going on around you are probably more easily explained than what we want them to be, because the reality is a lot of people I don't think can accept the truth of the things that are going on. They really just can't. It says investigators on Sunday were seeking more information about the theft of 3 Humvees and more than a dozen bayonets, 7 freestanding machine gun tripods, and other military equipment from the Army Reserve warehouse in Southern California. The Tustin Police Department said in a statement that stolen items, including medical equipment and 40 pairs of binoculars, were taken the night of January 8th from the Army Reserve Center in Tustin, California, which is about 34 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Police recovered 2 of the Humvees on Saturday after receiving tips from the public. The spokesman for the department said on Sunday that the military vehicles were found in nearby cities of Orange and Santa Ana. The lieutenant said that police did not have information about the thieves because the military did not have surveillance cameras on the warehouse. What? Why would you not have surveillance cameras like guarding the entrances and exits? I mean, I don't know. He said police were seeking footage from other cameras in the areas. The Department of Army Criminal Investigation Division said in a statement that it was continuing to investigate this matter alongside our local law enforcement partners and therefore cannot continue to provide additional information at this time. Mind blowing. Mind blowing, mind blowing. That is going to be on Facebook Marketplace soon. Right. How does someone just walk in and steal military equipment? How? Right. How did you sneak those down the 405 highway? I am just, what? You bet they had big beards. Are you implying that Ringo did it? It's just insane. And then there's no camera footage. Of course, there's not camera footage. Come on. Yeah, I think so too. They likely had somebody inside of the military, inside of that local warehouse, and was like, "Oh, hey, all of these are out there," and there's no cameras in that area. It'll be fine. Come on in and get yourself a Humvee. You want one? Hmm? Anybody else want a Humvee? Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, I need to check the local Walmart footage. They'll be asking for people's they'll be asking for people's Ring doorbell camera footage because freaking the government doesn't have cameras protecting their assets. Your new binoculars are awesome. Oh man. I can't imagine how great government issued binoculars would be. Hmm. Anyways, guys, all right, I will see you over in the other stream in just a minute. We will be going live with the court hearing and continuing to follow up on justice for Jasmine Pace. And so I will see you guys over there. Actually, let me have it reroute you that way. That way it can just scoot you over because we're going to start there in a couple minutes. You have time to get yourself a drink and a snacky snack and do all of the things that you may need to do prior to sitting for the next 5 hours watching court. So, see you kids in a bit. I'm going to wait 60 seconds before I click the end button because I keep ending before my last sentence. My last sentence. So, all right. See you guys. Bye. Love you.